So let's begin. This week, Kentucky Secretary of State Michael Adams told lawmakers that he believes it's too early to say what the impact of artificial intelligence will be on elections. He just knows its potential is significant. At Tuesday's meeting of Kentucky's Artificial Intelligence Task Force, he explained, for example, how earlier this year in the New Hampshire primaries, voters there were hit with a robocall of an AI-generated Joe Biden telling them to stay home. Adams believes right now Kentucky is behind the curve and wants lawmakers to consider a law criminalizing impersonation of government officials that would also meet the muster of the First Amendment's protections.
It is illegal to impersonate a peace officer, and for good reason. It should be equally illegal to impersonate a Secretary of State or a county clerk and put out false information in any format about our elections.
He also suggested a disclaimer law to label certain deep fakes of political figures that are clearly meant to be a joke or a parody. So, gentlemen, we were all in the room during this meeting. You both serve on this particular task force. Senator Thomas, I want to start with you here. First off, from the request there that the Secretary is making, do you have any concerns, as we just noted, about how this may fit with the First Amendment?
Bodie, none at all. I think he's absolutely right. I mean, we already have laws on the books. Just think about it. Where you can't falsify a document in someone else's name. And so it's just a natural extension to say that you can't impersonate someone for your own personal benefit or gain. It is fraudulent in our elections. I mean, it creates a certain uncertainty and insecurity about our elections. If you have a person come on through AI impersonating a candidate. He's right. No one should be able to falsify a candidate and act as if they're that candidate to the candidate's detriment when that's not him or her. I think that's absolutely wrong. I think he's right. We ought to look at in our AI task force when we do recommendations, criminalizing and outlawing anyone who impersonates a candidate through the use of AI.
Representative Bray, do you share that same perspective?
Yeah, listen, the Secretary had some really good points. In my time in the House, we spent a lot of time ensuring that voters trust our elections. And this is kind of a further extension of that. We don't need candidates or consultants out there trying to create voter suppression, trying to create doubt amongst our elections. The example that the Secretary brought up in New Hampshire, there was a robocall to where President Biden said, don't vote this primary, save your vote for November. New Hampshire has laws that prohibit that, and so they were able to criminally charge the consultant that did that, and the FCC came in and put a $6 million fine on. But I think that there's some merit to that. We need to explore it. And then on the converse side, we need to be really cautious of the First Amendment, because obviously we don't want to stifle free speech. And so whether we look at a disclaimer on political advertisements or just parodies of, like Secretary Adams was talking about, to where you can't impersonate an election official, we've got to look at that in depth.
As this technology develops more and more, we've discussed this here on this show, and it seems like already there's been evolutions that have occurred since then. I think, between now and the next election cycle, the different concerns that we may have, or the different practices we may have to adopt to kind of safeguard our own personal communities. And it begs a question to me, is this a problem that lawmakers alone can solve, or is this a community problem, looking out for your grandmother or parent or family member, friend?
Well, I'll go first, Judge. I think it's something that lawmakers can solve and address. I mean, Bodie, let's understand that free speech is not limitless. There are limits on free speech. And certainly when it comes to election security and trust we have in our elections, that area, I think, would certainly pass any constitutional muster in saying free speech stops where you threaten the integrity of elections. And you're impersonating someone, again, to the detriment of our government and to the detriment of that person.
Representative Bray?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that lawmakers can put the guardrails on, but I don't know that we can necessarily solve the issue itself. When you get on Facebook now, there's a lot of AI-generated content that's designed to get clicks and go viral so that the creators can monetize that. And it's hard, it's getting hard to tell what's real and what's fake. And as the technology gets better, you know, we're going to have to be vigilant in our own personal lives by, you know, looking at what we see on social media and kind of putting additional scrutiny on it, because what you see may not be the truth. And it's one of the things that concerns me most is we've seen an erosion of trust within our institutions, particularly the media. And as this content is more and more prevalent, you know, does that further erode our trust? Does that erode our trust in social media? Because I mean, it's going to be hard to tell what's real and what's fake, and it's going to take us as lawmakers to put the guardrails there, but it's going to take the community to apply some additional scrutiny to what they see.
We got about 30 seconds left here, so some quick answers. As of right now, how confident are you that you will be able to suss out and tell that something is artificially generated by AI?
I think you can somewhat tell now, but as Josh and I heard this past week, AI is expanding rapidly, and it'll be a different instrument now than it is a year from now. I'm not sure a year from now you'll be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, right now, you know, I trust what I see for most of the time. You can look at the fingers and details in these AI-generated images, and you can tell that something's not right. But a year from now, like Senator Thomas says, who knows? Because this technology is evolving so fast that it's hard to keep up with.
A lot to think about.